The Chiefs' only hope is fixing these obvious problems. We're going to talk about that. Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew, how we doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Thanks for rolling in here. Do us a favor, hit that like button real quick. Let's get more people in here. And tonight we have DraftKings sponsoring this live stream, so let's take a listen to that real quick.
Thanksgiving is finally here. It's time for good food, good friends, family, and football. And in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, we have some amazing news. The countdown is on, Missouri. The big play is coming. Be amongst the first to get in on the action when DraftKings Sportsbook officially goes live. So what's your favorite part of Thanksgiving? The turkey? The sides? Or maybe it's the news that now you can take part in same-game parlays, props, and even daily fantasy. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live using our promo code ACU. With DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Let's go. Download it. Use the promo code ACU. Mike, how we doing, man? I know the Chiefs are not doing all that well after that Thanksgiving loss to the Cowboys. Now 6-6, needing to win out and get a little help from the field.
Yeah, we got to get help from everybody else. We're seeing some of that today. I think it was debatable. A lot of people are arguing they don't know who was supposed to win the Colts game or not. I think it's more beneficial that the Colts lost that game. I really do, because we have to win out no matter what. And we do have the tiebreaker over the Colts. So maybe that's in its favor. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I think that's to each their own. There's just so much that has to play out. But the only thing that we have to do is win. Like, we can't control everything else. We just have to win these next games coming up. We cannot lose one game. One game is gone. So it's Texans right now is our Super Bowl. It's that simple.
Absolutely, dude. The Chiefs didn't do themselves any favors. They're in a bad position. A lot of things have to happen. So that is what it is, Mike. But we've been seeing a lot of things. We posted some X posts talking about just glaring problems that the Chiefs have that are easily fixable or were easily fixable, and they just didn't do it. And now going forward, we got to figure out how to get this train on the tracks and get in the right direction here, because like you said, every game coming up is our Super Bowl. Because you lose one game, you're not making the playoffs. So they have to win out. The first game coming up against the Texans, that's going to be a tough one. We got 3 offensive linemen hurt. I don't know what the updates are on them. I haven't been paying much attention to that since yesterday, so I don't know if we've heard anything new. But they have the best defensive line in football. It's going to be a tough one for us.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. They've got a really good defensive line. They're going to get after us. Look, Jalen Moore is going to slide in over there at left tackle. You know that's going to happen. Josh Simmons is injured. He's probably going to be out for the rest of the year. A lot of people are disappointed in that, Steve. A lot of people on Facebook have already just come out and shown the weirdest football knowledge I've ever seen. Like, they're saying Josh Simmons is a bust. He's horrible. They don't know why the Chiefs drafted him. I think that's a little harsh. I mean, yes, he did miss 4 games. I know everybody got butthurt over that because they didn't know the exact reason, which, again, we've told everybody. It was a family issue. It was solved. He did what he had to do. He got back. He stayed in football shape. That's all he could do. He got back. He got injured on a little chip block there. You know, it was a help from Kareem Hunt, friendly fire. It is what it is. He got injured. Let's get his hand and let's get everything going for next season. It is what it is. But look, I've heard from everybody around the situation I've heard that Trey Smith is eyeing to get back this week. So he's trying his best to get back in and play versus the Texans. I've also heard that the elbow problem with Jawan Taylor isn't as severe as they first thought, and he is trying to shoot to play this week. So if that happens, to be honest, it's literally just going back to the 4 weeks that we didn't have our rookie left tackle and Josh Simmons. And I think we won what? Did we win 3 out of 4 of those?
Yeah,
2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, or something like that. I don't remember the exact timeline, but I'm pretty sure he was there when we beat the Lions. He was there when we beat the Commanders, maybe even the Raiders. So I think he won 3 or 4 of those games. So I think we'd be fine there.
Yeah, just trying to unpack what you just said. I think first and foremost, if you think Josh Simmons is a bust and is not good, you're an idiot. Don't talk about football anymore. Josh Simmons has been
He's
crazy,
got
dude.
Such good technique too.
Yeah, that guy's great. I mean, you saw how good he was even in this Dallas game, literally pancaking guys left and right. Granted, the refs don't know what a pancake block is, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. Josh Simmons has shown out all year long, every opportunity he's had. And I'm with you. Like, he had that family emergency. He was out for a few weeks. That was frustrating to fans. And I think it was more frustrating because the Chiefs organization kind of left it out there like, blah, we're not really going to tell you exactly what's up, which they couldn't. And I get that. Things are personal. But at the same time, I think that kind of got escalated up to higher than it should have been. But this wrist injury does suck, dude. Going to the IR, being out indefinitely. We'll see what happens there. I've seen offensive linemen come back from injuries like that faster than you think because those guys can tape things up and cast things up and do whatever and roll. It's going to be a little tough for a left tackle to do that, but he's probably out. But like you said, with Jalen Moore, he played really well at left tackle when we had him. I think he had one game where it was a little questionable, but otherwise he did a solid job. So I'm not like super upset about that.
Was it the Bills game? Was that the final game Josh Simmons missed was the Bills? Then we went to the bye week and Simmons got back. So I'm pretty sure it was Jalen Moore versus the Bills was the questionable type game. And I think he only allowed 1 sack on the day.
Right. And then Caliendo got his lunch ate for 2 weeks in a row now. So we really got to hope that Trey Smith gets back in here. And then if Jawan Taylor's back, that's even better. So I think we'd be right where we were. Like you said, when Josh Simmons was out on that personal thing, that's where, where we'd be at as far as offensive line goes. To me, Mike, we have bigger problems to talk about. Because as big of a problem as that is to have a busted up offensive line going against the best defensive line of football next week, we have even worse problems. And let's start with the first one, dude. We'll go ahead and knock the elephant out of the room real quick. That's Chamari Connor. Mike, Chamari Connor is bad at football. Spags loves Chamari Connor. He won't take him off the football field. That's a losing combo right there.
Right. We kind of set Twitter on fire. I did it yesterday as a complete accident. I was in Cincinnati enjoying a Christmas weekend, kicking off after Thanksgiving. We were going to Kings Island. We were having a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We had a little hot chicken for lunch, a little Joella's. And as I was waiting for my food, I was putting together a little tweet about Chamari Connor because it was kind of pissing me off that Chamari Connor is the fullest, by far, the weakest link in this defense is Chamari Connor in pass coverage. And so 100%. I put together a few stats because a lot of people have seen this with their own eyes, but you don't know how bad it is until you see it right in front of you. And I'm going to pop it up right here. We're going to talk about it for just a second. Chamari Connor, like you said, Spags has allowed him to play 97.42% of the defensive snaps this year, which means he is never hardly off the field. These are his coverage statistics, ladies and gentlemen. Out of all those snaps, he's played almost 400 coverage snaps, 398. He has allowed 40 catches on 45 targets, which is an 89% completion percentage when being targeted. And out of those 5 incompletions, he drew a penalty on 4 of the 5, which means he basically has only stopped 1 pass coming his way out of 45 targets, Steve. How insane is that? 553 yards allowed, averaging 13.8 yards per reception. He's allowed 3 touchdowns, and yes, one of those penalties was in the end zone. He gave up a defensive holding penalty or a PI in the end zone a few weeks ago, and that got moved all the way to the 1, so technically he should have had 4 touchdowns allowed. He's only had 2 pass breakups, and he has a passer rating when they pick on him. The QB is thrown for a 140.1 passer rating. And then, of course, I added Spags is needlessly dying on the Chamari Connor hill. And I think everybody agreed with me, Steve, because that tweet lit X up, and Chiefs fans are raging over it.
What can you even say about that? Dude, you might as well just put up a graphic that said Chamari Connor is ass. Like, I mean, honestly, you couldn't, that would have probably been better than what you did. You literally picked apart how bad this guy's been, like historically bad. And Spags continues to make him one of the top snap counted guys on the entire defense. We see it every week. We've talked about this for weeks now, how they need to pull him out some more, get Jaden Hicks in there some more.
Get him back maybe to the safety position if you're going to use him that way.
Bro, I'm telling you, we've even heard the guys at the pressers that don't like to ask good questions bring up Chamari Connor before. And Spags always says the same thing. Chamari's a good football player. Like, it's every time. They got to get some real answers out of that guy because this is trash, dude. That's awful.
Well,
like
here's-
I'm telling, like you said, Spags is dying on the Jamar
Yeah.
Connor hill. That's exactly the way I would see it. If I was Andy Reid, I'd be like, either take him out or you're going down with him.
Dude, no lie, because look, the defense feels there's more problems with the defense. We're going to get to that. That's one of the three. We've got another one that relies solely on the defense, and then there's one offensive. But this one right here is beyond crazy because the Chiefs' defense overall is not that bad. This is where they struggle. In third down defense, Steve, this is the chart. This is per Fox Sports. So Fox Sports has put together all these statistics. The Chiefs ranked tied for 28th in third down defense, which means we give up third down on 43%. Okay. Now, a lot of that is for what reason? Because they target Jamari Connor on every freaking play. So if you take Jamari Connor out, that may go all the way up. And then the crazy thing is that our total defense, by the way, is 8th in the whole league. We've only allowed 25 touchdowns, 306 yards average per game. We're the 8th ranked total defense. And then here we go with passing defense. I'll bring this one up too because it relates to Jamari Connor. We're 11th in all of football, only averaging 205, basically 206 yards allowed per game, 13 passing touchdowns. If you took Jamari Connor off the field, we'd be top 5 in every one of these positions.
I don't know
Like,
about the
can
third
Spags
down
not
thing.
See that?
I don't know about the third down thing, but I think he does carry a lot of weight in that, but also just the scheme on third down, dropping into zone, having defensive ends and linebackers trying to cover people, leaving guys wide open 8 yards up the field. I think a lot of that goes into the third down inefficiency, but Jamar Connor is absolutely a problem. He's the biggest problem on this defense. And we're going to go forward and talk a little bit more about some other problems on the defense. And when you put all that together and then you look at these statistics, you realize this defense could actually be pretty good.
It could be
with
great.
just a couple little tweaks. Now, we talked about Jamari Connor. That one's fixable. That one's absolutely fixable. Get his ass off the football
It's
field.
called bench his ass.
Right. Now, the next one that we're getting ready to talk about is not so much fixable. I think the time's gone. It's done past. You sit on your hands at the trade deadline, and you kind of made your own bed here. Mike, let's talk about that pass rush for a minute because it's atrocious.
Yeah, it's the pass rush. Steve, I've been calling for a pass rush for 2 years. I'm not the only one. Look, you can go watch Ryan and Dan over at RGR. They've said the same thing. Cole may have said the same thing. We've got countless people. Price Carter, one of our boys over at Arrowhead Addict, he's called that. There's a lot of people that see this. For some reason, the front office and the coaching staff couldn't see that we've needed a pass rush for all these years. They've tried to put a Band-Aid on it with Mike Dana and Omenihu. But this is what I tweeted out today, and this one's kind of started a firestorm. The Chiefs' D-line has a 15 total sacks on the season through week 13, and Myles Garrett by himself has 19. He has 4 more sacks by himself, and you don't even want to know what the Denver Broncos has.
I added that in. Did you see how I added that in on that tweet?
You did. What were they, like 46, 49 on the year?
The Denver Broncos has 49. We have 15. That tells you how big of a discrepancy there is there. That's pathetic, dude. There's no way you're winning football games if you have 15 sacks through 13 weeks.
That's one
crazy.
sack per week from your defensive line. And keep in mind, we're in a passing league where these guys are dropping back 40 times a game.
Right. So let's put those two together now.
Good night.
You got a defensive line that cannot pressure the quarterback. And then you
got a
have
corner
Jamar
that
Connor
couldn't
out
stop
there.
Grandma.
He is the worst cover corner in football. And that's a bad combo to have, right?
Dude, it's atrocious. It's atrocious. And again, the defensive line, everybody said, oh, we're worried about the rush. We're worried about the rush. We're number 9. We're tied for 9th against with a running D. Matter of fact, we've averaged right at about 101 yards a game. We've allowed 11 TDs. Big deal. A lot of that was 2 or 3 tush pushes and against Josh Allen and another couple tush pushes versus Jalen Hurts and all this. But I'm not worried about that. Steve, you've seen one good game against us, and that was James Cook having to run the ball 27 times.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, we've shut down almost all the big
our
names.
rushing defense, as bad as everybody was so worried about that, has actually been good. It's the passing defense, and it's getting after the quarterback is the problem, Steve. And so, look, they've done well there, but at the same time, what have they done? Brett Veach did go over and give some draft capital for, sorry-ass Derek Nottie. I get it. but at least he does offer some kind of run support. He offers a big body in the middle. They went out and Mike Pennell asked for the release from the Bengals, and they put him on the team. That's another run support guy. But they're not doing anything with the pass rush, and they never did. They solely relied on Chris Jones and George Karlaftis to do it all themselves. And when George Karlaftis he always has been, he always will be, he's going to be a step slow the way these offenses are ran and the way his body type is and everything about him. He's always going to be a little bit slow. He's going to create a lot of pressure and a lot of win rate percentage, but it's going to have to be because the quarterback sits in the pocket for a really long time. He's not going to win anything really quick. Chris Jones is getting older, and they've relied on a rookie, Ashton Gelati, who's done a pretty good job, but you didn't expect him to set the world on fire. And then Mike Dana and Charles Omeni, who have vastly underperformed this year. And I thought Tillery, when given a chance to rush the passer, has got a sack or two this year. He has won a few battles in the pass game, but they don't routinely put him in on pass rushing situations. So Brett Veach and them really dropped the ball here. And again, we did draft another one. We drafted Omar Norman-Lott. You see what they did with him? They tried to put 30 pounds on him and make him defend the run. What the hell are they doing?
I don't know,
Like,
dude.
you needed the pass rusher.
Getting pretty questionable, but I think you already missed the mark on the pass rush. I think you're screwed now.
Yeah.
You're absolutely screwed. So the only hope you have right now is to get better secondary on the football field, and leaving Shamari Connor out there for 100% of snaps almost every game is not going to get the job done. That's how we're getting beat. You have to think, dude, the Chiefs are 6-6 right now. And I would say probably 100% of the games have been one score, right? Like, are there any besides us beating the crap out of the Raiders? I mean, honestly.
They've all been winnable.
Like, so I know every game we've lost has been by one score. So you have to think about that for a second. You put yourself in that position by having him on the football field. I'm telling you, that's one little thing you could do that probably could have got us 4 more wins. Like, it's crazy to think about, because I honestly think with just if they would have went out and got a pass rusher in the offseason, somebody that is legitimate, can legitimately rush the quarterback, you're probably sitting at 10-2. If they had gone out at the trade deadline and got a guy that could contribute and actually pressure the quarterback,
We've probably won every game since the trade deadline.
You're probably 8-4, something like that. I don't know I can't do math right now. Either way, you're not sitting at 6-6. That's absolutely what you're not doing. If you just attack those two things, it's just silly to me. They continue not to do it, right?
They've had ample time. We were begging for this for 2 years. In the offseason, this offseason, we were begging for this. That was the sole purpose, Steve, of why I wanted to draft Omar Norman-Lott. Because we needed a defensive tackle. We needed to help Chris Jones. And I wanted to go with a guy that could get after the quarterback. He had the highest win rate in all of college football at 19%. And the Chiefs put 30 pounds on him and tried to make him a run stuffer. What the hell are they doing?
And got him injured.
Because he's not used to being fat. Okay?
Brother,
his ankles give out. What's
so,
happening?
We could talk about all this stuff in, short term and long term, right? Short term, you've kind of screwed yourself with the pass rush. And the only way that you can compensate for that is to blitz a lot. And Spags still hasn't been doing that. He's still not blitzing quite a bit.
But at the same time, quarterbacks are eating that blitz up, because I think people on the back end, when Chamari's not blitzing, okay, and he's on the back end, he does nothing for you, because if you're going to blitz McDuffie, guess what? Before McDuffie could even get there, Chamari Connor's already let up a pass.
No, I totally understand. It's like a very high risk, high reward type deal with the blitz. But I mean, you've put yourself in a position where you have to do that. End of story. I mean, if a quarterback beats your blitz, if they tear your blitz up, then I guess you try to adjust somewhere through the game.
Yeah.
But you can't just not put pressure on a quarterback the entire game like we did with Dallas. Freaking Dak Prescott is not good, ladies and gentlemen. And he's out here. They're talking about how he's the greatest of all time. He's going to be MVP this year. He was back there eating turkey, throwing the football. 30 minutes later, somebody, he just waited for one of his receivers to push somebody down and throw it to him, bro. They had all time to do everything. You've got to put pressure on a freaking quarterback, brother.
It felt like Dak was out there in the backyard with his kids having a flag football game on a Sunday afternoon.
Absolutely.
It was wild. But, dude, look, I'll tell you this. I'll say this across the board. The Chiefs can't fix that pass rush. They can't do it at this point. There's just no fixing it. It's either Omeni who wakes the F up and Mike Dana gets going, which I don't see happening, right? George Karlaftis got to magically find a rocket to shove up his ass so he can get to the quarterback quicker. That's not going to happen. Chris Jones finds the fountain of youth. I mean, he basically versus the Colts and even versus Dallas, but I think versus the Colts more than anything, he was timing the snap pretty well. He was getting after it. That was one of Chris Jones' best games he's had not only this year, but in the past few. And we barely won that game, right? It took to the fourth quarter to get it together because we were letting up so many third downs.
Right.
And so the only way to really fix this, Steve, is to just get Chamari Connor's ass on the bench. I really do think that might be the way to fix it.
That is the first step in this fixing the defense plan.
Let Noel Williams play more.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
We've been on a rant, but shout out Dawn Herman, become a member. I think she had already been a member, but
Yeah, Don's been a member for a while.
welcome back. Our boy Doug, been a member for 27 months, is all up in some feelings, not clutch anymore, no heart with this team. Love ACU and the crew. Absolutely, dude, but I think it's just, I guess it kind of crushes any kind of, I guess, any intensity that you have or any kind of momentum that you get in a game or I don't know, dude. It just sucks when the same things keep happening. The same guys keep failing you over and over again. And we're talking about one today with Connor. I hate to keep kicking the guy while he's down, but I mean, it's an obvious thing that needs to get fixed. So, I mean, I think that's things like that are what causes the team to get down on themselves, right? I mean, when you let up every third down,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get off the football field. The morale goes way
Right.
down. Like
It's
everybody's
also
tired.
One of those things, Steve, where look, not everybody is going to come out and call out the obvious. I'm sure, for example, if Chamari Connor was watching this right now, he'd probably be pissed off. He'd probably hate us. He'd probably want to fight us.
Right.
If any Chiefs player right now is watching this, they're probably going to defend their teammate over us. We're just two, idiots in a basement talking.
Correct.
But when you really sit back and look at it, we're not lying about anything. And you're doing it out of love. You're trying to figure out a way to make the Chiefs better. You're trying to get Chamari Connor to figure this out to become a better football player. It's all out of love. These guys aren't going to go out to dinner with us. They're not going to send us packages in the mail for Christmas. Like this is how everybody approaches this shit. And it's just not like it. Like, you have to have people like us that's willing to call this stuff out and talk about it, because these are the hard conversations you have to have. And again, if you have a child that's going through something that needs to have a firm talking to, you do it. That's out of love. You're not doing it because you hate them. Like, we're trying to figure this out, and everybody's trying to talk about this, and we're trying to come to the conclusions. And we don't root against Chamari Connor. I've never one time turned on the TV and been like, hope Chamari Connor gets burned today.
Right.
Never one time.
I don't know the guy at all other than being a football player. I don't dislike him.
He's probably an excellent dude, but right now he's struggling as a football player. He's got to figure it out, and Spags needs to figure it out. Like, Spags and him can be buddy-buddy all day long, but you can't play friendly favorites over guys that deserve to be on the field more. And again, no Williams, people like that.
Well, what are you telling Chamari Connor about letting him have 100% of the snaps every time? That he's doing good. He's okay. He's fine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have to change anything. He thinks he's fine. If you pull him out of the game, refuse to put him in, then maybe he'll start looking at some things, start trying to get better at some things.
But what's Spags looking at?
I don't know.
If I can go over and pull those stats off in a 10-minute wait for a chicken strip, what in the hell Spags doing all season long?
It's hey, have you ever seen like the comments from the assholes like that are always like, "Oh, your stats don't matter if the eye test tells me whatever." That's Spags. He looks like he's a good football player,
bro. We watch it every week, and we can see with our eyes that he stinks.
I think there was one tackle in particular in the last game where I literally was just done with Chamari Connor. He ran in, and instead of wrapping the dude up, he dove with his shoulder and clipped him and let him go for another 10 yards.
The kid broke it off for a 40-yard touchdown, wasn't it?
No.
Wasn't that Connor that missed in the hole there?
I don't know. That was on Chris Jones. That was Chris Jones' fault.
I know Chris Jones went the wrong way. But
I don't think it was that
Chamari
play.
had
It was a different play, but either way, I was just like, come on, bro. Like, what are we even doing here? But yeah, anyway, our boy Bryant, been a member for 8 months now, probably longer, says, all in all, y'all my people, and it's Chiefs forever. Absolutely, man. So we've really been beating up the team right now. And it's not so much like you said, it's not beating them up. It's kind of talking about how can this team get to the best place possible going forward.
Win. You
Because you have to win. You got to win out, right? So, like, it's not like I said, it's not kicking guys while they're down or anything like that. It's like actually having an honest discussion about it. Like, you're never going to win a football game if you have a guy that's playing that bad and you continue to give him 100% of the snaps. That's common sense.
Right.
You're not going to win a football game in the NFL, or you're not going to win very many football games in the NFL if your entire defensive line has less than 1/3 of another team's sacks. Like, I'm sorry, that's just never going to happen in a million years.
Combined, they have less than one single player that plays for an ass team who's
Right.
always getting blown out, and you don't even get many chances to rush the passer.
Can I
Like,
also
are you
make the
thinking
point that
about
everybody
this?
knows what Myles Garrett is, and he gets double teamed just as much as Chris Jones?
Exactly, or more.
Yeah, so I'm just saying there's lots of problems to fix. They're pretty obvious. Now let's talk about the flip side. Let's talk about the positive side. If the Chiefs win out, if the Chiefs do win their next 5 football games, Mike, I think that they are obviously going to be a 7th seed. I think if you win, you're in. That's the way I feel about it right now. I don't know what the exact statistics are. I don't, and of course they're going to be different coming from different sources and, the way they view everything. I honestly think that if you win out, if you win, you're in. At the very worst, the 7th seed. I think there's a possibility after the AFC eats itself here in the last few weeks that you might even be a 6th seed if you win out. So, I think the Chiefs are still in the driver's seat of their own destiny at this point. You lose one more game, you're done. But if you win, you're in. That's just, it's plain as day to me. That's where we're at. And I think the Chiefs have to approach every game like that going forward. Not saying they haven't been. But I'm just tired of, after every post game, you hear the same thing at the pressers and all that. And you always have Chris Jones, who's the one guy that'll kind of be accountable, but then he'll always come back with we'll respond. Just watch. We're going to respond. And we don't get any response. So how are you feeling just as a fan, not even as an analyst, but just as a football fan? How are you feeling about the Chiefs winning 5 straight games after what we've seen in the last 12?
Right. Dude, there's nothing in me that says this team can reel off 5 straight.
Yeah, you've lost all confidence in this team, right?
You've lost confidence in it. And I'll tell you why, because you've got problems, not just with the defense, but you've got problems with the offense. We didn't even talk about some of the offensive shortcomings. How about last year? They were number 1 in football on 3rd down conversion percentage, and this year they've dropped all the way to number 10.
Right.
So they're not – they played Dallas last week, who is the worst team in football of getting people off the field on 3rd down. They had no problem making us punt for 2 straight quarters.
Right, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Our offense has been very mid. Our defense they've just been getting gashed because of 2 particular holes, Shamari Connor and the pass rush. But other than that, there's nothing here as a fan. Now, the other side of me, the little bit of hope says this is still the same core team that has created a dynasty. This is still Andy Reid. You never count out Patrick Mahomes. You don't get rid of Travis Kelce and Chris Jones's grit. Spags always can have that single game where he can go out there and just trounce a quarterback and just confuse them and make an offense look stupid. And so I don't give up on him fully, but the confidence level is really low right now. Do I believe we can beat the Texans? Absolutely. Even without Josh Simmons, I don't think you can lose to the Texans. I believe we can win that game. But if you're telling me that you think that we're going to be able to beat the Chargers and the Broncos and the Texans and the Titans should be a given, but something tells me we'll make the Titans a game because that's what we like to do. So I have zero confidence that this team can actually do it. But deep down, I know this team is capable of literally being one of the best teams ever assembled. They've been this close all year.
Patrick Mahomes has said
they
it
haven't
himself,
done it.
dude. We can win anyone we line up against, but we've also proved that we can lose to anybody we line up against, right? So, that's kind of where they're at. And to me, Mike, when I look at this remaining schedule, here's where I stand. It's all in this Texans game, not for obvious reasons that you have to win them all. So you have to win the first one, obviously. That's, not for that. But I do feel like that this Texans game is going to be the most challenging of the remainders of the games. Let me tell you why. First of all, you got a banged up offensive line. Their defense has come on. That whole team as a whole has kind of came on in the last few weeks, and they actually just beat the Colts
They won
today.
again today. Yeah.
Right? So, they're no joke, dude. They are a good football team, so it's going to be a tough game. But if you can get past that, hear me out, man. Here's my logic. If you can win that game.
That is at home, too. That's at Arrowhead.
Right. I think the majority of our games coming up are at Arrowhead. I think the only away games we have are the Titans. And that might be it. No.
That might be it because the Chargers lost the home game.
The Raiders, I think, is away.
Okay, so the Raiders. Well, that's
right.
That's
So
Arrowhead West. So.
Exactly. So hear me out. You win the first game against the Texans, and I feel like you put yourself in the best position because the Broncos, they beat us already, right? They've beat us. Okay, so now we're playing them at home. We could have won that game last time. It's not like they were that. They're not a better
that game
football
for them
team.
too. That was when their linebacker went out at the cancer diagnosis. Like they were just wanting to beat the Chiefs. Like that felt like a Super
Right.
Bowl game to them. And now
Right.
they've kind of come off that high. Then again, I think that's last game of the season, which means they could actually come out and end our full season. Like they still got something to play for.
The Broncos game.
Yeah, like they could come out and if we've won out, they could win and knock us clear out of the playoffs.
I don't
Like they
think
may be
that's
pumped
how that
about
goes.
that too.
But let me look at that real quick. I think we played them earlier than that. Yeah, okay. They're the next to last game. They're the Christmas
So that's what
Day
I'm saying.
game.
So they could still come out on Christmas, ruin our Christmas, knock us out of the playoffs. So they still got something to play for, and they're not going to sit their starters a week before the end either.
So let me finish my thought. So you beat the Texans, who I think is the most challenging game here. And then going forward, I think you have your best chance just to run the games out because you've already played the Chargers. You've already played the Broncos, and both are, of course, away games, even though the Chargers game was in Brazil. But you've played those away games. Most of the time, you're going to split in the AFC
absolutely.
West. I mean, a lot of times you'll split. So I think that the needle is got to be in a little bit of our favor that we've already took the loss. We already played the away game. You know what I'm saying? So, like, those two games – if you beat the Texans, you beat the Chargers, you beat the Broncos, and that essentially you split with them two, that only leaves the Titans and the Raiders that you have to beat.
Yeah, which is the two easiest games on our schedule all year.
Absolutely. So I'm telling you right now, if you can go out and beat the Texans, I think your chances of getting in go way up. Like, I think this Texans game might be the most challenging one. And I know a lot of people's going to be like, well, Denver and their pass rush, and they're going to make us blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But you also have to understand that, first of all, Denver is not – let me repeat. Denver is not a 9-2, 10-2 team. They're just not. They are not. I'm sorry. They're going to get knocked back down to reality a little bit from somebody. Because I'm telling you, their offense is not good. Okay? And the defense can only carry for so long. I'm telling you, they're not as good as their record indicates. The Chargers, I think it's the same thing with the Chargers, bro. They've literally had to run out and get Trevor Penning at the trade deadline because they've lost all their tackles. They've lost all their running backs. They have Kamani Vidal starting. Like, they're not the same team they were. We played them the first time, and we had them beat. If Travis Kelce just finishes running a route in the end zone. Yeah. You know, so, like...
Dude, they're struggling right now to beat the Raiders. It's 24-13 with 8 minutes left.
It's not like particularly been close, but...
Well, that's the Chargers, for example.
Well,
but,
go back to the Denver and Raiders game. Denver barely beat them. So
dude,
it's like...
I think the Chargers definitely have the hardest road here out, too. They play the Raiders. They're going to get that win today, probably. They're up by 10. But they've now got the Eagles coming up. They've got the Chiefs. They've got the Cowboys. They've got the Texans, and then they finish their season with the Broncos. That's a grueling end of the season run right there for the Chargers.
Right. Mike, we got a 10 bomb from our boy Flapjack. Says, can we start drafting athletic players instead of players that fit a scheme? Please, for the love of God. No, it's holy. Sooner or later, Spags will be gone, and all we will have is players left that fit a scheme. So, I mean, Spags is shooting himself in the foot by being hard-headed about that in particular. And, I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that that's kind of come to a boiling point this year. He's got this idea how everyone's supposed to be in his defense. That's why we've always drafted trash edges. That's why the best edge rusher we've ever drafted in a long time has been George Karlaftis. And like you said, Mike, he's never going to be a top-tier guy. He's just not. He's got limitations. So it's like, we got to stop worrying about, do they fit this arm length? Are they fit this height? Do they fit this weight? Can they set the edge? Like, that's not what we need to be doing with an edge rusher. The same with the defensive tackle. We drafted somebody that could help us with pass rush, and we decided, hey, let's make him fat. Let's make him the Derek Naughty Part 2.
You pissed it away.
Yeah, you pissed it away, and you got him hurt because you made him gain 40 pounds.
Do you think,
what
has it ever crossed your mind that maybe Felix and Udike Uzama, they were trying to change something about him too, and 100%. That messed with his game and messed with
100%.
Do you think, now looking at it, we've seen this over and over, them trying to change somebody's game. Do you think maybe they tried to change Felix's game somehow?
Can I just point something out? And I know that's not like a huge correlation here, but when they went off script, Felix was essentially off script. Like, he doesn't fit that Spags edge rusher. He's not like super tall, super heavy, going to set an edge.
Right.
That's not Felix.
But you wouldn't come in and playing unless you can do that.
Exactly. So he didn't get very many snaps. He didn't get to get his feet under him in the league.
Yeah.
And he eventually got weeded out, right?
And he had some early injury too.
Right. So think about that for a minute. Who's the next one that they've done this to? Or not that they have done it to, but who's the next guy that they drafted? Ashton Gelati. We're getting ready to watch to see if they repeat history here. Because Ashton Gelati does not fit a Spags defensive end whatsoever. He's the complete opposite.
Setting the edge is a little tougher for him.
Exactly. But I will tell you this.
He can do it. He can do it.
He could do it, but I mean, that's not his strength, and he's not going to be what Spags typically wants as a defensive end.
Right.
And we've already seen him doing weird things with Ashton Gelati. He's been lining up, head up as a nose tackle. Like, we've seen all kinds of weird stuff, and he has won a couple of those. Ashton Gelati's a damn good football player. But I'm interested to see what they do with him because they've tried to change everybody else.
Look, everybody's kind of just forgot about this kid. And when I say it, it's going to ring a bell. But when we drafted him out of Baylor, it went on to go to Stephen F. Austin, B.J. Thompson at 243.66. We drafted him in the 5th round.
Yeah.
And he was not a Spags type guy. And if you remember, he never got a shot. He never got a shot. And then he had all those medical conditions, and then he's kind of been he's not even with the team.
Can I pose a question here? Like, is there a disconnect between Steve Spagnuolo and Brett Veach and his crew?
Why do you think?
Because Brett Veach and his crew, they keep drafting and they keep bringing in all this talent, and then Spags won't even use them because they don't fit his little mold. So where's the drop off? Like, they've had to have had that conversation. Like, I would imagine when Brett Veach goes to sign a player or draft a player, the first person he goes to, if it's defensive, is Steve, and he's like, "Hey, dude, what about this?" Is Spagnuolo just going along with, "Yeah, man, that sounds great"? Like, I don't understand, but there's a disconnect, and they've got to get that fixed, dude, because it's absolutely destroyed us on that defensive line. Like, we are in the spot we're in right now because our management and our defensive coordinator are on two separate planets when it comes to who needs to be on the football field.
Can I say this about Flapjack's point?
Yeah, go ahead.
He says, if Spags is gone, all we'll have left are players that fit a scheme. Let's just take ourselves and just let's put ourselves in this mind frame, whether the Chiefs win or not. If we lose one game, we're out. Let's just say we get to the playoffs, let it as it goes, win or lose, it doesn't matter. At the end of the season, what if the Giants do come to Spags and they say, "Hey, you want to be head coach?" and Spags takes it? Now, who's he left behind to the next guy? He's left behind a slow, unathletic middle linebacker that they just put under contract. They've put a big time under or unathletic, and I love George Karlaftis, and I don't want to act like I'm crapping on him, but he's still not that prototypical go get the quarterback bendy edge, right? He's the Spags guy. And you're going to leave Chamari Connor. You're going to leave all these guys that fit Spags' stuff, but guess what? Spags ain't going to be there. And so what do? Do you have to bring up like a Dave Merritt? And then he's got to try to run Spags' defense that way?
No.
I mean, you're
I'll tell you
setting
exactly
yourself up for disaster here. And
I'm telling you
Flapjack's onto
exactly what would happen if Spags left. Depending on who they bring in there, they would clean house. That Chamari Connor wouldn't see the light of day.
But how can you clean? You could do that with Chamari. He's on a rookie deal. But you can't clean house with Nick Bolton and a guy you just give $90 million to.
Well, okay, Nick Bolton is a good football player. George Karlaftis is a good football player. Neither of them are like groundbreaking. They're not like whatever.
Right.
But they're both good football players. Chamari Connor has not proved that he's a good football player yet. I'm sorry. Whatever he's doing right now, it's just he don't need to be on the football field. The other
I'm
two,
also just afraid.
those other two guys are going to start on any team in the league.
And I'm
Chamari Connor wouldn't even play for any other team in the league.
Right. I'm afraid that because they give Karlaftis that big deal and they chose to do that over McDuffie, I still feel like they're maybe not going to get McDuffie done.
Well, we just made a point last game. Okay, Trent McDuffie. Look, man, I did the research because I was just tired of everybody shitting on McDuffie after the Cowboys game. In the last since he's been drafted, basically, Trent McDuffie, and this is statistically true, is the second best corner in football behind Pat Surtain. Like, he has had better success rates than Sauce Gardner. He has better success rates than Derek Stingley. Like, he is the second best in the league at covering the football.
I believe it.
He absolutely shut down, bro. He's a monster. But here's what you were saying the other day. It doesn't matter how good a corner is in football when all of the rules go against them. Because are you going to spend all that money on Trent McDuffie, knowing that all they have to do is go out and shove him a few times and get some bad calls and knock
Right.
him down, push off?
Yeah,
because
he looked
he's
like one
smaller.
of the worst corners ever yesterday.
Right, he's
Or,
smaller. He's just getting thrown around, and there's nothing he can do about it, because if they're not going to call it, they're not going to call it, right? So why waste money on something like that that's so subjective? Because we could have had Jalen Watson covering those guys at the same rate as McDuffie, which he probably did, but it's the same difference. It's not going to make a difference, right? So why would you pay that much money? If you start looking at Sauce Gardner, you start looking at Jalen Ramsey, you start looking at all these big-time corners that have floated around the NFL. Everybody wants to pay out the ass for them, but they never really do much. It's just crazy. So, I mean, why would you?
To that point, you just had the Colts who thought they had something going, and they went out and traded a bunch of they mortgaged the future on a guy who now tore his Achilles a couple games after he really wasn't doing all that well.
I don't know if he did for sure, but it looked like he tore his Achilles today.
So it's one of those things. Could have been a hammy. I don't know what it is, but point is it kind of shows that you may need the pass rush over the corner. I mean, I'm a firm believer that you got to get after the passer. I mean, Noah Williams out there could have done what McDuffie did the other day. I mean, anybody can go out there and get pushed around, and if they're not going to call it.
Right. End of story. Appreciate the 10, Flapjack. We had 10 from Tiger Atlas or Roma Stamo. Says Andy and Spags are savants. They are brilliant and moronic all at the same time. That's a true statement. They are, first of all, they're stubborn to a detriment. Like they will shoot themselves in the foot. And also, they do tend to outsmart themselves a lot. They overthink really simple things. And that's two things that I've noticed with those two that's very similar. When they're on, when they're right, they're good. They're real good. They're some of the best to ever do it. But when they have to, make certain adjustments or they start overthinking things, bro, it's bad.
I agree.
It's bad. Appreciate the 10, man. Appreciate everybody being here, by the way. Do us a favor. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel. We'll have all kinds of Chiefs content out year-round. So hit that subscribe button. I just met a couple of Chiefs fans. They're from Hawaii. They were at Fort Knox because they're in the military. They lived in, I can't remember where they said, Leawood or somewhere like that for 8 years. They're big-time Chiefs fans. I thought this was crazy because I'm talking to them, and they were like, the guy said, I watch Chiefs YouTube videos all the time. He said, I watch Chiefs YouTube videos almost every day. And he said, I've never, ever seen you on there. I've never seen your channel, which is wild to me. It blew my mind. Right. And I was like,
it's not that shocking, Steve.
It's not that shocking, but it's just crazy. And then, of course, I was like, well, what channels do you know? He didn't know Chief Concerns. He didn't know RGR. He didn't know nothing. He didn't know Scrambling Armchair. He didn't know anything except for the bald guy with the red beard. That is the common sentiment. So, like, when we're always like, hey, guys, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button or share us out with your friends or, like, really help us get word of mouth out. We need that. We need that. Like, we're never going to grow this channel by just sitting on it, and letting it go to
YouTube do it.
Go to a 250,000. Yeah, it's not going to happen because of that. Like, that's literally the only thing that YouTube will push out there is the Chiefs' actual channel and the bald guy with the red beard. And that's been the common sentiment. So I say all that to say, guys, we appreciate you guys. You guys have helped us get to where we're at, but we need your help to keep continuing to grow. Like, if you could just, tell your friends about us or in other group chats, talk, throw it out there, whatever you got to do, help us get the word out, because there's a lot of people out there. We've been doing this for damn near 4 years now, Mike, and they didn't even know we existed. And I thought that was pretty wild.
Year. Yeah, it's our fourth year.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty wild. But
that is pretty wild that you would think that, because, like, this is another reason that I believe that YouTube just craps on our channel on purpose. Because if I were to go, I've never searched on YouTube, how to put together a Lego set, for example. But I guarantee you, if I went and searched for how to put together a Lego set today, the next time I logged on there, they'd recommend me 3,000 other channels. And so you would think a channel with 50,000 plus in a niche as small as the Chiefs, you'd be pretty easily found.
It's severely outweighted, buddy. Severely. So
it is. I mean, I get it. You don't get as much money for YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
And
That's
we talk crap
probably
on them, you know?
That's probably it. But yeah, guys, anyway, subscribe to the channel, all that fun stuff. Also, while we're taking a small break from the action here real quick, just want to shout out Zarda also for sponsoring today's live stream. Get over to Zarda. They got one in Blue Springs. They got one in Lenexa. Make sure to go by there. Get yourself some food, dude. They have great food. Ashton Gelati has a sandwich out right now called the KC Takeaway. Me and Mike have had it. It's excellent. Get over there and do it. They do $11 lunches. They do all kinds of fun stuff.
Right.
The food's great, dude. The best sauces in the game. I don't care what anybody says. That's just what it is. The best sauces in the game. Get over there, eat some food. Let them know All Chiefed Up sent you. We'd much appreciate it. Also, Mike, we have our Black Friday sale going on the store still. It'll stay up probably through Christmas, to be honest. We might just leave it rolling, depending if we can get...
or make something even better.
Or make something better. But yeah, you can get over to the store. It's merch.allchiefedup.com. All kinds of merchandise on there. Right now, everything is completely free shipping, which we did the math, and that's going to save you the most money. So free shipping. It's automatically applied to the cart no matter what you buy. So you can get over there, merch.allchiefedup.com. You can get one of these hats like I'm wearing or Mike's wearing. We also have our Mary Cheesmith shirts up right now. So if you want one of these for the holiday party or the family get-together, you want to be the most kick-ass person in the room, then get over and get one of these shirts. Right. We also have hoodies. Go check it out, man. We'd appreciate you. But yeah, man, let's get back to the football, dude. I think that obviously it's weird. We're in a position as Chiefs fans that we haven't been in years. Like, it's hard to remember the last time that we were in a position, because even before Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith had us competitive. You know, as soon as Andy came in, we got competitive. So you have to go pre-Andy Reid to start thinking about years where we're 12, 13 weeks into the season, and we're talking about how we got to win out or we're not going to make the playoffs. This is new territory that we're treading.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't think a lot of us, I mean, there's a lot of Chiefs fans out there that don't remember the losing days, right? I think that you have a lot of those out there. Like you said, as soon as Andy got here, we kind of turned it around pretty quickly because of Alex Smith and his veteran leadership there. But, you know, we are in uncharted territory. Like, we've never really been at this point, especially in Patrick Mahomes' career. We've not seen a position where you're going into week 14 of a football season, week 13, whatever it is, week 14 this year. But, well, I mean, week 13 was pretty much a should have won. So, yeah, you're going in really late. You're not making the playoffs right now. Like, you have to win to get in. You've got it. We've never had to cheer for other teams to win to determine if we get in or not. We have won. This is going to be the first year we haven't won the West, bro.
Mike, normally
in 13 years.
Normally it's like what do we have to happen to get a 1 seed? How can we get that 1 seed? That's what we're normally worried about.
We're fighting over 1 seeds. That's how like good it's been for us. But I'll say this. Every dynasty has its ups and its downs. And look, even the Patriots went through this. They had a year where they missed the playoffs, right smack dead in the middle of their dynasty. But you know what they did? They went out and they looked in the mirror that year and they fixed it. They fixed it. They got what they needed to do, and they didn't let it happen again. Because now you had success and you had failure. And it says, hey, I've had failure and I've had success. I would much rather have that success feeling. So I think that, you know, I'm not saying we shouldn't get in or this or that or whatever. Like, I'll let it play out because we could definitely get in and cause some noise. But I do believe that, like, the failure situation could be a rejuvenation for this team for the next decade.
For sure, but I don't want to see it. I want to see them win out.
For sure. Yeah, I don't want to either.
Shout out Machiavelli, whatever. I can't say it all, but yeah, man, it's true. We need your help, guys. Help get the name out. Help get all.
He said he can't find it when he looks for it.
Yeah,
YouTube's just like, I don't know who that is.
Pretty wild, dude. They have 51,000 subscribers and people have trouble finding your channel.
And I don't know who they are.
It's pretty nuts, right? But yeah, dude, I'm right there with you. I think like it's not necessarily a bad thing to have a down year in the middle of a extended long dynasty, but just any time, and I'm sure they thought the same thing back with the Patriots, but you're wasting a year of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
The same way they probably thought, well, here's the thing, though. One of the times that Brady missed the playoffs, he was hurt. He wasn't even on the football field.
I'm pretty sure that was the 2008.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's not the same kind of thing
it's
here,
really
dude.
Not, which is why a lot of people are saying if Mahomes misses the playoffs, he can never be better than Brady now. And I mean,
they already said that it doesn't matter because they're never going to say he's as good as Brady, no matter what he does.
You still have a little bit of a point. Like if he was injured the year they did miss in 2008,
this is not the same.
Right. He was never healthy.
This is not the same. And here's another thing, and I want to go ahead and this will start a whole nother conversation. And that's cool. You guys get in the chat and let us know how you feel about this one too. But I've seen a lot of people, and Mike, we're the first to call him out when he plays bad. But I've seen a lot of people, and it's very unwarranted, say that Patrick Mahomes is the reason why this team's losing. Yeah. And like, it's absolutely insane, dude, because when you go look at the statistics that Patrick Mahomes has put up this year, he's good. He's just as good as he's ever been. And we're not winning football games. It's mind-blowing. To try to pin this on Patrick is wild. So not only, and I said all that to say that, not only are you kind of wasting a year of Patrick, but you're wasting a year where he's producing. Like, he's actually putting up decent numbers.
No, Steve, Mahomes is on record. I mean, look at what he just did in the past 2 weeks. He just threw 4 touchdowns last week. And again, he was missing both his bookend tackles for a big chunk of that game. The week before, he had more passing yards versus the Colts, and he basically did it all in a quarter. But that was the most passing yards he's had in 2 years.
Yeah.
And we talked about all year long, he was on pace up to like week 8 of being in the MVP race. Patrick Mahomes is playing decent football this year, man. He really is. And like, yes, is he making every throw? Absolutely not, because he's overshooting guys in the middle of the field. He's throwing too long in the deep ball. There's a lot of things that he's not perfect, right? But at the same time, it's hard. You don't have many quarterbacks that do play perfect games. And so, but there's nobody else that can put a team on your back and go have that, the over my dead body, are we going to lose this game type of drive. But you've seen even that, I guess, to their defense a little bit. You've seen that a few times this year where we'll get in key situations with 5-6 minutes left on the clock and the offense goes 3 and out and punts.
Well, I mean, there's several problems with this team, right? And one of them is the play calling has been sus this year. It just sucks that certain things rear their ugly head at the wrong times.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are times where you fully expect Patrick Mahomes to go out there and get it done on the last drive of the game, or a game that's can close a game out, or whatever, and 3 and out and off the field because they choose to call the worst effing plays in the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like there's not a whole lot you can do about it, but we've had that conversation too. That's kind of where Patrick Mahomes has got to like step up and be like, hey, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's exactly what Peyton Manning would do. That's exactly what Tom Brady would do. All the greats would trump that coach or that offensive coordinator and be like, look, that shit's not working. I'm not doing it. Here's what we're going to do. And that's where Patrick really has to get that. I think he's got to grab that kind of that leadership role by the balls, so where sometimes you're out on that football field, you know a little bit better than what they do.
You know how we talked about during the Dynasty, especially last year, the whole world flipped on the Chiefs. I mean, I'm talking like everybody from the media to the game announcers to everything just piled on the Chiefs and convinced the world that we get all the calls and everything we've done is not because Patrick Mahomes is good and all the work he's put in, and not because of all the hours Andy's put in the film and Travis Kelce's put in, devoted into this, but we've got all that because the officials give it to us and the NFL's rigged.
Yeah, that's dumb too.
And so that narrative come out and we said that was going to start our villain arc, but we never got the villain arc. If anything, I feel like they've cowered this year down to that. Like they've lost the motivation to beat that. But if you were to miss out on the playoffs, could that flip a switch and Patrick Mahomes like never again?
Mike, if there hasn't been a flip
never
switch.
Again.
Look,
no, it's
brother,
a little different. I'm telling you, you can have somebody sit there and just ridicule you and say you didn't deserve this and you didn't deserve that and blah, blah, blah. And
Mike, you got embarrassed in the biggest
you can let
Super
that go
Bowl
one
ever.
and out the other. But if
This was
you
the most
miss-
watched Super Bowl of all time, and you got
I
beat
get it.
down like a redheaded stepchild.
I get it, but if you miss the playoffs, to me, as Patrick Mahomes, if I'm playing 10 more years, I'm never letting that happen again. So
I
am
don't think it's up to
flipping the
Patrick
switch.
Mahomes, because I don't think Patrick Mahomes is the reason we're missing the playoffs.
Well, that's true, but to go to your point, maybe Patrick Mahomes gets some balls and says, no, you're fixing this, you ain't calling that piece of shit
I love
play.
the idea that you're throwing out there, and I wish that's how it would happen, but I tend to think that if you're this far along and you haven't done it yet, you're not going to do it. Okay, you said they cowered to the masses, the dumbass football fans that don't know their ass from a hole in the wall, that want to talk about refs, and then they kind of cowered to the sports media just talking trash and wishing they lose every game and saying they're going to lose every year. This year, they've kind of tucked their tail between their legs. And if you didn't respond after that Super Bowl loss and you tuck your tail between your legs, that tells me something. You're not going to do that. Nothing that happens to you is going to make you do that.
That's a broad picture. They've had several games this year where they had many, like micro motivating things. Week 1 versus you come off the Super Bowl loss and you go to Brazil and you get beat there. And then you lose to the the Super Bowl champs, the Eagles, and they come into your house and then they beat you in your own house. And all these little motivational things, and they've never got up for the big game. Like the most fire we've seen out of them, I think, in this entire season so far, may have been the Lions game and when they fought at the end of it with Juju. Like all that felt like emotional and like you're not coming into our house and doing this, right?
Absolutely.
That's what it felt like. But every time else, nothing. But I'm hoping that if there's anything out of the Mahomes missing, maybe that does make Mahomes a little more sinister in his outlook on how long he plays and says, look, I'm not allowing this to happen again. Over my dead body are we doing this again?
Right.
And I don't care who I piss off. I'm getting it done my way.
Yeah. I don't know, man. But I think it's funny that when you're talking about certain things, like Patrick Mahomes actually playing decent this year, a lot of people blaming him unrightfully. You also start talking about how, a lot of football fans in general are just very unknowledgeable. They don't know a whole lot. We're talking about all that right now, how stupid some people can be. And then we get we literally have someone in the comments that comes in and gives an example. Like, it's a beautiful thing.
Of course.
Like, we had a Broncos fan. I already put him in the pit just because he's a Broncos fan and he's dumb. But he literally came in here and tried to convince everybody that the Chiefs weren't good last year. Chiefs were terrible last year. Mahomes was bad last year because he wasn't good last year and he's not good this year. I would say a team that won 17 games and lost 3 last year was probably pretty good. Were they dominant? Were they out there beating everybody by 40? No. But you know who does that every year? The Cowboys in week 1 through 8, the Bills in week 1 through 8, the Ravens in week 1 through 8. Look at all those teams. What do they ever do? That's never been the Chiefs. That's never been the Chiefs.
Just to point out the irony. A Broncos fan in which the Broncos are having the exact same season the Chiefs did last year, winning one-score games by implosions or whatever else.
Because last year the Chiefs, they won them one-score games. They would find a way to win. They would reach out and take it.
Right.
The Broncos have been getting handed games on silver platters this year.
They found a way to lose.
Right.
And so, look, that's complete irony that you're going to have an exact opposite season for your team. Dude, see, you're right. The average NFL fan is a slapnut of all slapnuts.
They are, guys. We appreciate you guys here that watch the show because I feel like everybody here is kind of, grounded. We'll disagree on things here and there, but for the most part, everybody's reasonable. But there's a lot of NFL fans out there that don't have a clue, dude. I sometimes I wonder if they even watch football or if it's just one of those things where they show up and they're like,
they just listen.
Go Broncos, because for whatever reason, we heard they had a good record this year, so let me swing in and say go Broncos.
Steve, I think the answer to that question is this. A lot of people nowadays, you have to preface everything. Like, if you talk negatively about anything that's football related, anything that somebody perceives negatively, the first thing they say is you're not a true fan.
Yeah. That's pretty much how it always goes, right?
What?
I don't know. You lost me or I lost you, one of the two. I couldn't hear.
Yeah, one of the two. I don't care. But anyways, you have to preface that, and it becomes one of these things like, I never have to question. Like, I've always been such a diehard Chiefs fan that I never have to question that. So I never have to say, I'll always love the Chiefs, but that never comes out of my mouth.
Right.
But a lot of people have to do that, and it's like, who hurt you?
The Chiefs hurt them, more than likely.
Who hurt you?
Every football fan in the world that they can't use reason. It's always the Chiefs were only good because of the referees. Well, here's what the crazy thing is, the Chiefs, let's be honest here, guys, 100%. And we've talked about this a couple times, but all week long, I know that you've seen this. You guys, you're smart people, and you also go on social media and you read things about the Chiefs. You see other Chiefs creators, you see other Chiefs writers and things like that. And I know that you've seen this, but all week it's been we don't complain about the refs here. That's loser mentality. We don't complain about them refs. Okay. And it's like, here's my thing. Like, you can call out something when it is true. Okay. Like, it is a true fact that the Chiefs lost the game against Dallas because of poor, terrible, awful calls at the worst times possible. It is a fact. Now, I'm not saying that the Chiefs would have done what they needed to do if they got the ball back, or I'm not saying that the Chiefs would have cashed in on the drives that they got taken away from them. But I do know for a fact that they would have at least had 3 points on a couple of those drives. I do know for a fact that Dallas would not have been able to hold the ball out if they didn't get these calls. It's a fact. You're allowed to talk about it. You're allowed to talk about that. You're no less of a football fan. You're no less of a knowledgeable football fan if you call out that referees were trash, right? And the reason why I brought that up is because the dumbest of the dumb, here was their argument. Oh, so now that the Chiefs don't get all the calls, you see how bad they are. No, that's not how that works. So first of all, the Chiefs never got all the calls. But even if they were getting all the calls, how does the refs actively butchering their entire game and taking points off the board for them and handing points to Dallas, how does that even prove what they're trying to say? Like, they're that dumb, bro. It hurts my head. I don't even know if I explained it well because it's so stupid, but
yeah, that
I
was
was
tough
thinking
to
about
follow. But I'll say this: you got to ask yourself one question. Either you want the NFL officiating as a whole to get better, which means you want every game, the officials to be better, the officials to be full-time, everything to be more down the middle, everything to be more accurate. You either want that across the board for every single team, and that includes the Chiefs, or you just want the Chiefs to never benefit from a call ever. So which one is it?
right.
Because you can't have both. You
Right.
can't sit there and complain every week that the officials are just trash all around. But then once it happens to the Chiefs, well, they deserve it. Good. You're
That's
getting what
exactly
you
how
got.
that goes. That's exactly
You
how it goes.
can't do that because now you're condoning
Right.
stuff that you complained about 16 other games that year.
Yeah, and after all that being said, that don't even bother me that much because, like we talked about, the average fan's a slapnut anyway, right? And they're going to say whatever they say, whoever they hate, whoever they like. It's always going to go that way. No matter how dumb it sounds, they're going to say it. But what annoys me is the people that know better, the people that do this for a living, the people that talk about football every day, the people that have played in the league, people with massive platforms, and they always do the same thing. We don't talk about the refs. They had nothing to do with
It's
it.
because they don't want somebody
We got to
to come in
take the
chat
high
and
road.
say
We got to
you're
go the
making
high mighty.
excuses. Exactly.
Right. Because they can't handle it. They got thin skin. They don't want anybody to say anything. And, like, I don't care. Yeah, go ahead and cry. Mike, I posted a tweet with Dallas Cowboys eating turkey, and I put John Hussey on the front with the penalty
seen
flag out, right? And I said that, CeeDee Lamb dropped his turkey leg in the post-game celebration, but John Hussey saved the day once again by calling Trent McDuffie for pass interference. And, dude, that thing went crazy. I think like almost 1 million people have seen this at this point. And of course, all the comments are Chiefs haters and stuff. I didn't lose any sleep about that. I thought it was funny, but like, you can call stuff
Right,
out.
well,
I mean, good
welcome
Lord,
to the world
don't
of
let
X.
people, don't let the holier than thou crowd
Hey.
that acts like they're so much smarter than you guys tell you can't call out when a referee absolutely butchers a football game, because you're allowed to do that. You can do that.
Only if the cool kids say it.
Right. I mean, bro, you could do that. No one
Hey,
cares.
speaking of, let's play our game. If you guys were here on Thanksgiving, we explained that we're just trying to be friends with Nick Jacobs. 41 is the mic.
Yeah, let's do
That's
it.
all we try to do. Like we never met the guy, never said a bad thing about the guy. We just
Trying to follow you on X.
try to follow on X, and every single time we follow him, he goes in and manually removes us. We're not even allowed to be in his presence. And so if you were on the show Thursday, we went on there and we followed him. So let's see if we're still on the board. No, we have been manually unfollowed again. So at 6:21 on November 30th, we are going to follow again. And out of a show of respect to Nick, we're going to find his last tweet, and we're just going to go ahead and retweet it just to show some solidarity. Look
Don't
at
even know what
that.
it's about.
Don't even know
Hey,
what it
scroll
is.
down. Look, I tried to interact with him the other day too. Scroll down. He had you might want to go to ours actually, but anyway, he had posted something about guys, if they can't execute, they will never see the football field. So I retweeted it and I was like,
Oh,
and
I
that's
did
why
see that.
Shamari Connor has been on the football field 100% of the time. You know,
Right here.
like, yeah. If they don't feel like the player can execute the packages or coverages they're calling, they won't see the field. That goes for both sides of the ball. And I simply retweeted it and said, yet Shamari Connor plays 100% of the snaps. So, I mean, I was just trying to, you know, throw in a little bit of something with it. And
What's going on there? But there we go.
Can't even be his friend.
It is what it is. But look, he won't even let us be his friend. We're just trying to be friends. Don't know what the problem is. So look, everybody got to see it. We followed him again on our next live stream tomorrow. Steve, tomorrow we'll be online before 3 p.m.
Yeah, we have a daytime stream tomorrow, guys.
If he's already kicked us off then, A, we're following again. And B, somebody's got to ask this guy what the problem is. Like,
What's
he
your
refuses
problem,
to
brother?
just be our friend. I don't get it.
Mike, we got a 5-bomb from Jamie. Says, I've been a Chiefs fan since 1965. Anyone that says I'm not a true fan or can't take the truth can suck it. Go Chiefs. Yeah, dude, I've been one of those people my entire life, Mike, and I know you have too. It's like, I don't care what anyone says. Nothing hurts me. Nothing makes me sad.
If anybody heard us,
upset
Steve,
me.
you would not be on YouTube talking about the Chiefs because
Absolutely.
I'm going to say this too. I love Chiefs fans, but Chiefs fans are mean. Y'all MFs run around here, like y'all run around here, and if anybody, like if you pronounce a word wrong, I see it 4 billion times. Like if
you're sick during a video, they'll call you out for being sick.
Some dude's like, I've never seen your channel before, but are you sick? And it's like, oh, thanks for telling me the video was good and that you appreciate my dedication. But no, you're just gonna come on and make fun of my sickness. Like, you guys are mean, dude. I've realized the world is mean, and Chiefs fans are mean. Y'all mean. Get it together.
There's a lot of them that know everything, you know. It's tough.
Oh,
it's
big
tough.
chunk is a know-it-all.
Flapjack with the 5-bomb says, if I want to bitch about the refs, I'll bitch about the refs. Do something. And that's the way I see it. Dude.
Flapjack.
You know, and that's the thing. It's like, I can understand if like it really wasn't the refs. Like if it was legitimately not the refs and the Chiefs just absolutely lost that football game because they just gave it away. It was awful. It was terrible. You know, I try not to complain, but when it's that blatant,
well,
like it's
you can
pretty
say
bad.
the refs. Look, both things can be true. The refs were bad, and yes, the Chiefs had several chances to win, and they shot themselves in the foot several times. One being Shamari Connor guarding CeeDee Lamb out of the slot, or Trent McDuffie giving up a completely fine touchdown.
And the third thing can be true. Even though the Chiefs played that bad, they still would have won that football game if the refs didn't make those calls.
Right. So it can all go hand in hand. Yeah. I'm not saying the Chiefs didn't deserve to lose it because they did play a pretty poor effort game.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. But like, you know, when you give them a free third down to cap the game.
They give them 5.
Well, I'm just saying to cap the game.
33% of Dallas's first downs were given to them by officials.
Mike.
Think about that.
5 of their 10 drives were extended by third down penalties.
Amazing.
That's crazy.
But don't talk about it.
That's wild. It's wild. Yeah, but anyway, can't do nothing about it. Now the Chiefs got to beat the Texans, and that's the big challenge coming up. Guys, we'll have a lot of content about that this week. We'll have a live stream during the day tomorrow. I don't know an exact time, but it will be in the afternoon, probably maybe even shortly after afternoon. It might be at noon. I don't even know. But be on the lookout for that. We'll have a live stream tomorrow, a little Q&A. Then we'll have the podcast out on Tuesday, video on Wednesday. You know the drill, baby. We got content going like crazy. So do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Hit that bell. Sometimes they'll give you notifications. Sometimes they won't. But go ahead and hit that bell anyway. It'll help you out a little bit. Shout out Zarda and DraftKings for sponsoring today's live stream. Go download DraftKings. Use the promo code ACU. Get yourself something to eat at Zarda and tell them All Chiefed Up sent you. Also, get over to merch.allchiefedup.com. Cash in on that free shipping for Black Friday right now and get yourself one of these freaking Merry Chiefsmas shirts, baby. You need to get that. It helps the channel, and you're going to be the coolest person at the freaking Christmas get-together. So get over there and get it, baby. Be back tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Go Chiefs. What you doing, Michael?
Nothing.
I'm rich,